Coming up on News 11, SUNY Fredonia's production of Legally Blonde is off to a strong start. Ballot boxes have been set on fire on the West Coast, and a small town in Belgium celebrates fall in a quirky way. These stories and more, News 11 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to News 11. I'm Julia Skiba.
And I'm Ethan Smith.
We have a lot of exciting stories to cover, so let's get started with your local news. Legally Blonde kicks off the 2024-2025 Walter Glore Main Stage Series with 6 performances at SUNY Fredonia from October 25th to November 2nd. The musical, based on the beloved 2001 film, follows Elle Woods as she navigates the challenges of Harvard Law School, described as an upbeat celebration of self-discovery and female empowerment. With her first dazzled audiences on Broadway in 2007. Over 100 students are participating in the production, featuring a cast of more than 30 and a live band led by Dr. Rob Deemer, head of composition and chair of the Department of Theater and Dance. The Legally Blonde production team is offering a one-night Halloween promotion for anyone who attends the show tomorrow night, October 31st. A general admission ticket will now be $15. Additionally, tickets will be $10 for any student with a student ID, including Fredonia students and anyone that attend the show in a costume. Tickets are available online, by phone, or in person at the Fredonia ticket office. Don't miss this opportunity to support your local students and see the iconic musical Legally Blonde.
The Boys and Girls Club of Northern Chautauqua County recently received the largest grant in the club's history. Years ago, this same Boys and Girls Club was on the brink of closing. However, the community rallied to keep the club open. This grant, provided by Learning and Enrichment After-School Program Supports, also known as LEAPS, gives $350,000 each year for the next 5 years to the Boys and Girls Club. With this extra funding, the club was able to increase its site director position to full-time, while also employing a full-time school-age child care coordinator. This also allows the club to use community fundraising for other events and provide security in the club's finances. Attendance at the club has increased significantly. Currently, the club serves 96 children from the community, up from 65 just a few years ago. With this new funding, the club aims to increase programming for teens, as well as improving programs for all children in the area.
One church in Dunkirk has been fundraising all summer with Dogs on Avenue. The St. John's United Church of Christ has been selling hot dogs each Friday to benefit its goal in supporting its community. The church sells hot dogs, soups, and baked goods made by the church members from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. every Friday, with several volunteers helping to run the event. The fundraising event just wrapped up this past Friday, where they fundraised nearly $5,000. They hope to use this money to impact its community in return with several missions. The church supports the Rural Ministry Hospice Care, the RO Foundation, Save Christmas, New Directions, Meals on Wheels, and Boys and Girls Club of Northern Chautauqua County. While the church just finished the Dogs on Avenue fundraiser, they are far from done fundraising. The church's next planned event is on Election Day, where it is designated polling site, and they will be offering homemade soups and sandwiches for $7, eat in or take out. The church will also continuously hold monthly dinners at a cost of $13 per person from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m., with next upcoming dates being November 16th and December 21st.
The Ever-Haunt Haunted House has returned once again this year to scare your socks off. For those who are unaware, Ever-Haunt is a haunted attraction that has become tradition for the locals of Western New York. It originally started as a Halloween party to raise funds for a friend's cancer treatment, but has since grown over the last 5 years. The attraction includes a pumpkin carving showcase and the famous haunted house, while keeping this both frightening and fun for all ages. Ticket prices start at $30 for general admission, and it is recommended that you buy your tickets online before coming. Donovan, the man behind the haunted sensation, has partnered with numerous local charities, as well as writing a children's book to reach a younger audience.
5 local veterans from Chautauqua County were among many veterans to be honored in the most recent Buffalo Niagara Honor Flight. The flight took place on the weekend of October 12th and 13th. The group was taking a trip to Washington, D.C. to visit the monuments. All of the veterans expressed that the trip was heavy but heartwarming. Many had never been to D.C. before and had applied to be on the honor flight several times. They were greeted at the Buffalo airport with cheers, music, and applause when they returned, something they did not receive when returning from their services. They felt appreciated for their service and supported by each other and the Buffalo community.
Early Saturday morning, 3 hikers were rescued from Chestnut Ridge in Orchard Park. The hikers, who were exploring the Eternal Flame Trail that is found in the park, realized they were lost at 3:30 a.m. One of the hikers called dispatchers and told them he only had 2% battery left on his phone, and the other two hikers did not have their phones. Deputies quickly responded using rapid SOS. They were able to pinpoint the hikers' location and escort them safely out of the park. No one was hurt.
Coming to Buffalo on November 2nd and 3rd, the official name of the event is Brickfest and will be held at the Buffalo Niagara Convention Center. Whether you were a Lego lover as a child or still enjoy them today, there is something there for everyone. This traveling festival showcases works by Lego masters. There are large-scale builds you can add yourself, or you can keep it small, or just to admire. There will be shopping, building, a Lego pit, photo opportunities, and much more. Get your tickets online today.
5 Buffalo Catholic churches have teamed up with Preservation Buffalo Niagara in the hopes to establish landmark status. As part of the, quote, Save Our Sacred Sites effort, end quote, landmark status would prevent these churches from being torn down. There was a public hearing on Tuesday held by the Buffalo's Common Council's Legislation Committee. The 4 churches that the committee decided to put up for landmark status are St. Rose of Lima, St. John Canty, St. Thomas Aquinas, and Our Lady Perpetual Help. St. Stanislaus on Buffalo's east side is also seeking preservation status. However, it is expected that St. Stan's will merge with St. John Canty. The council committee agreed on Tuesday to grant landmark status to all 5 churches.
About 17 minutes away from Sisters Charity Hospital, Amberlyn Starr and Robert Winsel's baby decided it was time to be delivered. The Mercy Flight EMS crew on board pulled over on the side of I-990 and began to prepare. Amberlyn said, quote, "It was nerve-wracking. You know, having a baby on the ambulance is not something I thought was going to happen," end quote. The EMTs helping to deliver the baby were J.T. McCarthy and paramedic Madison McGill, which was her first time helping in a delivery since being promoted. Amberlyn and Robert's daughter Kimberly was born 5 weeks early and is currently in the NICU, and her parent says she is doing great and getting stronger every day. And when we return, we will have your national stories. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, Miss Flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Actor and comedian Jay Johnston, best known in Anchorman and Boss Burgers, has been arrested and charged for obstructing officers during January 6th. The actor's career stretches all the way back to the mid-90s with films such as Bicentennial Man, as well as producing for shows like Moral Orel. However, his career took a sharp turn when he participated in the riot on the Capitol building on January 6th. Witnesses state he was located near the Lower West Tunnel, where some of the worst violence was seen. Ever since that day, Johnston has been refused many roles on the big screen and has been working as a handyman to make money. Due to witness accounts, the Hollywood actor has been linked to the incident and has been charged with 12 years in prison. Jay Johnston has pled guilty to his sentence as his lawyers argue that the government is, quote, using his status to make a point to the public, end quote.
Federal authorities are investigating the causes for the ballot box fires that have destroyed hundreds of ballots over the last few days. Monday morning in Portland, Oregon, 2 ballot boxes were set on fire, and there was another case earlier in the month. There was another case reported in Vancouver, Washington at the beginning of the month as well. Authorities believe the cases to be connected. Portland police identified a suspect vehicle leaving the scene in Portland. They believe that this is an intentional targeted act intended to affect the election process. Washington Governor Jay Inslee stated that there would be enhanced 24-hour security at ballot drop-off locations. Luckily, fire suppressants inside of ballot boxes have prevented hundreds of ballots to be protected as well. The individuals whose ballots have been far too damaged to count will be reached out to by election officials to receive replacements. These violent acts were already a concern of the FBI, with extremist beliefs in voter fraud being more widely accepted.
President Joe Biden has cast his vote in the 2024 presidential election. Just a few months after stepping down as candidate, the sitting president voted early for his endorsed candidate and current Vice President Kamala Harris. Biden waited in line for 37 minutes along with other residents of Wilmington, Delaware, to cast their votes. President Biden has been noticeably absent from the campaign trail after saying in September he would be regularly on the road in support of his replacement. Upon voting for Harris, Biden was asked if the moment felt bittersweet. The president responded, quote, "No, just sweet," end quote. Biden has been supporting Harris at the various union events he has been booked for, but has yet to heavily promote or spoken at a campaign rally for the Democratic nominee. When asked after voting if he believes his vice president and former running mate would win, he responded, quote, "I think we will," end quote. The general election is set for Tuesday, November 5th, with early voting running from now until November 3rd.
Last week, Tuesday, Wisconsin-based pizzeria, quote, Famous Yeti's Pizza, end quote, accidentally sold THC-laced pizza to hungry customers. The pizza dough was contaminated with Delta-9 oil found in a shared fridge in the kitchen. Potential contamination lasted from October 22nd at 4:30 p.m. till 12 p.m. on October 24th. They have since destroyed all contaminated goods. The public health investigation is continuing on, with Director of Environmental Health Bonnie Armstrong saying, quote, "We want to be sure anyone who has this pizza on hand throws it away so they don't get sick," end quote. If you or anyone you know may have gotten ill from this pizza, please fill out the questionnaire online provided by Public Health. Questions, comments, and concerns should be sent to the Famous Yeti email, famousyeti@gmail.com.
On Monday, Apple launched Apple Intelligence, the company's very own AI technology. The new features will be available for users with an iPhone 16, 15 Pro, and Pro Max, and those who updated to iOS 18.1. The update will also be available for certain iPad and Mac models. This puts Apple into the race to generate AI against its competitors like Microsoft and Google. This update will also include improvements to writing and editing, Siri, and the Photo app. Users will be able to record and transcribe phone calls with Apple Intelligence, providing a summary. This rollout will only be available with devices with language settings set to American English, with other languages getting the update in early 2025.
The Bureau of Land Management has hosted an online competition since 2019 to raise awareness about the animal's ecological importance. The federal agency posts photos of bats on its Facebook and Instagram accounts and then asks people to vote for the cutest one. The bats are part of wild populations living on public lands and are photographed by agency staff. The first round of voting began last Thursday and pitted Townsend's big-eared bat named Sir Flaps-a-Lot and Utah against a hoary bat named Harry Potter. From Oregon. The contest coincides with Bat Week, during which bat experts across the world hold educational events celebrating the only flying mammal. Emma Busk, the BLM wildlife technician who photographed Harry Potter, said bats worldwide play a key role in the environment by eating insects and pollinating flowers and fruits, but they're increasingly facing threats of habitat loss, disease, and light pollution, and are often misunderstood as carriers of diseases such as rabies. Busk said, quote, "There's a lot of fear and misconceptions around bats, but less than 1% of all bat populations actually carry rabies, and the bat-to-human disease transmission is quite low," end quote. The beauty contest will conclude on Halloween, when the winner will be announced. And when we return, Mitchell Horsey joins us for the first time with our sports update. And we'll have Abby Jacobson for your first look at weather. We'll be right back.
We've been down there. You gotta do the same. Post office. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. For selective service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. For selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down. Post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's got to be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
We're now joined by Mitchell, who will be giving us our weekly sports update. So what's going on in sports, Mitchell?
Thanks, Jules. So starting with Fredonia sports, the women's soccer team played last night against Chatham. The Blue Devils took home a win with a score of 2-1 with goals by Jordan Nicola and Gabby Irwin. Goalie Abby Simkowiak had a total of 7 saves after the win. Fredonia's record improved to 11-7 on the season. The women's soccer team will play this Saturday at home against Buff State at noon. This game marks the first home playoff appearance since 2014 for the team. Women's volleyball also had an exciting win this past weekend. The Blue Devils picked up a victory of 3-2 over Morrisville State this past Saturday. Fredonia dominated the first set and ended up winning 25-12. Morrisville took the second set with a score of 25-19. Fredonia took the third set, and then Morrisville took the fourth set, forcing a final fifth set. After a back-and-forth battle, Fredonia ended up on top and won the set. Aaron Callahan led the team in kills and blocks, Molly Cassidy led the Devils in assists, and Sasha Zayas led the team defensively with 13 digs. The team will play this Friday at Oswego State at 8 p.m. Moving on to local sports, the Buffalo Bills also had an exciting win on Sunday. The Bills played the Seattle Seahawks and took home a victory of 31-10. Touchdowns were scored by Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, and James Cook, with a field goal from Tyler Bass. Buffalo dominated the game all around, with Josh Allen finishing with 283 passing yards. James Cook led the team with rushing with a total of 111 yards, and Khalil Shakir led the team in receiving with a total of 107. The Bills played this Sunday at home against division rival the Miami Dolphins at 1 p.m. Unfortunately, the winning luck was not extended to the Sabres, as they fell 2-5 versus the Florida Panthers this past Monday. Florida scored the first 2 opening goals of the game. Sabres forward Jason Zucker responded halfway through the second period, and Rasmus Dahlin quickly followed suit and tied the game at 2. The Panthers then went on to score 3 unanswered goals, making a final score of 5-2. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen had a total of 26 saves in the game, and the Sabres will play this Friday at home versus the New York Islanders at 7 p.m.
So I wanted to talk about the Bills a little bit because, unfortunately, I'm not great at keeping up with the Bills, nor did I enter college as a Bills fan, so I'm slowly getting there. But what's going on with DeMar Hamlin? Because that's really what piqued my attention to the Bills. So what is he doing now?
Yeah, DeMar Hamlin, one of the coolest stories, not only in sports, but really that we've seen as humans. He's not only back in the field, he's starting for the team. Has a really big role, has 2 interceptions on the year, and it's truly one of the most inspiring things that you couldn't even write a movie about it.
No, I know, that's crazy, because I know that there's only been, I feel like it was around 3 to 5 cases of commotio cordis that he had, and unfortunately every one of them have passed away. So the fact that he was able to get such great care and that he's playing already, and it was last year, right?
It was 2 seasons ago, but again, it's on national television. It's truly, truly impressive.
Yeah, with no side effects is quite amazing. So anyway, we're now joined by Abby for our weather forecast. So what do you have for us, Abby?
Thank you, guys. Today was a pretty warm day as it was partly cloudy with a high of 76 degrees. It will deep down a little cooler, but will still be pretty warm with a low of 64 degrees tonight. Tomorrow we will see that perfect Halloween weather with a high of 76 degrees. Make sure to bring a jacket if you go trick-or-treating, as there is a 22% chance of rain. It will dip down a little cooler with a low of 51 degrees at night. Don't remain too hopeful about the warm weather we will be having, as it will get colder this weekend, which we'll talk about when I return. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Abby, for our weather. So when we return, we'll have your international headlines, and we'll be right back.
Hello?
I want you to sit down and break.
What? Who is this?
I want you to sit down and break.
What are you talking about?
I want you to sit
Leave me alone.
break.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Israel said on Saturday that they struck military targets inside Iran as a retaliation response to Iranian attacks. The Israeli army claims to have aimed for missile manufacturing sites that avoided oil fields and nuclear facilities. Iran's foreign ministry has called that this is a violation of international law and has stated they feel entitled to defend themselves. The Iranian military has claimed that 2 soldiers were killed in the attack without giving further details. Israel did not give further details on the scope of the attack, and Iran confirmed there was limited damage. The strikes lasted about 4 hours after the Israeli army confirmed they concluded their operation. Iran and Israel have been fighting proxy wars for years, but with the conflict in the Middle East, it has taken new heights. Iran's first attack on Israel came after Israel's strike on the Iranian consulate in Syria. The UN human rights chief warned Friday that the darkest moments of the war are unfolding in Gaza due to Israel's bombing, siege, and starvation. A major concern of the increasing military conflicts between Israel and Iran is escalation to the point of full-scale war, drawing in the U.S.
JP Morgan Chase is suing customers who have stolen thousands of dollars using a technical glitch. JP Morgan, which is one of the largest banks in the country, opened hundreds of cases against customers who exploited a so-called infinite money glitch. You may recall seeing a viral TikTok trend where someone will deposit a false check and withdrawing all of the money before the check is bounced. What many did not realize is that this is a known crime called a check fraud, as the bank is now fighting back to reclaim the debt caused by the trend. Since then, JP Morgan has fixed the original issue in their system, as the lawsuits center around those living in the Central California and Miami area. Spokesperson for JP Morgan, Drew Pustari, stated, quote, "Fraud is a crime that impacts everyone and undermines trust in the banking system," end quote. Moral of the story, if you are going to commit check fraud, don't post about it online.
More than 300 people gathered in a small pond in Casterly, Belgium for the annual Pumpkin Regatta. The Pumpkin Regatta consists of locals kayaking around the pond in massive carved-out pumpkins. No challenge or pumpkin is too big for this Belgian town. Every year in October, the Casterly Kayak Club and the Pumpkin Society team up to put this event on. The goal is to cross the finish line first with a 4-person team in this relay race. Dare to enter? You can compete in the following categories: children ages 12 to 18, men, women, and mixed. Spectators won't be bored either, as there's a variety of treats on land. The event is guaranteed fun for the young, the old, and pumpkin lovers alike. And after the break, a look at Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest, the sellings of Venom: The Last Dance movie, and Kate Bush on the potential of a new album. We'll be right back.
I'm Nigel, I'm a friend of John's. I come back here and the wall is just floating, like right there.
On Sunday afternoon, a Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest took place in Washington Square Park in New York City. A few dozen Timothys gathered and were joined by a couple Wonkas, a multitude of Paul Atreides, and a singular Bob Dylan. There was even a corgi wearing a curly wig in attendance, who was being introduced as, quote, Timothy Corglamet, end quote. There were also countless women in attendance as well, scouting out potential boyfriend material. As the contest went on, the event grew from 200 in attendance to 2,000. There was rumor that Timothée Chalamet himself might even have attended the event. The 28-year-old actor had been filming a couple movies in the city and calls Manhattan home. As the day went on, the rumor got more and more ongoers excited, which ultimately led to the event getting shut down by authorities. It was, however, moved to a second location at the New York University adjacent Mercer Playground. It was here on a mound of green painted cement where the Kings of Timothy's was crowned. At the end of the day, it was Miles Mitchell, a 21-year-old from Staten Island, who won the grand prize, a $50 check and an epic, larger-than-life trophy. It wasn't until after the trophy was hoisted that word got around the man of the hour actually made an appearance back in Washington Park. He was easy to miss in a backwards baseball hat and black sweater. In a sea of Timothée Chalamet's attendees, missing him was forgivable. After all, he was everywhere.
Venom: The Last Dance had a less than stellar debut at the box office, bringing in $51 million during its opening weekend, which is a significant drop from previous entries in the franchise. The original Venom, released in 2018, debuted with $80.2 million, while its 2021 sequel, Venom: Let There Be Carnage, opened at $90 million, even as theaters were still recovering from the pandemic. Initial projections had suggested the third installment would open closer to $65 million. According to studio estimates released Sunday. The film, which stars Tom Hardy as a journalist sharing his body with an alien entity, may still turn a profit for Sony Pictures. However, its production budget was around $120 million, not including promotional costs, which is notably lower than most comic book films. The reception hasn't been promising either, as the film currently holds a 36% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a franchise low B- on CinemaScore from audiences. This disappointing weekend for Venom: The Last Dance indicates that superhero films may face their lowest grossing year in 12 years, excluding the pandemic year of 2020.
Kate Bush, in a recent interview, talked about the potential of working on a new album. She said she had, quote, lots of ideas for new material over the past few years. She's been catching up on a lot of archive work with redesigning their website and putting a lyric book together. Bush says, once she's done with that, end quote, I'm very keen to start working on a new album when I've got this one finished. Bush, who is now 66, was shot to fame with her release of her debut hit, Wuthering Heights, in 1978 and has not released a studio album since 2011. She gained a new generation of fans in 2022 after her song Running Up That Hill became a huge hit after it was featured on the Netflix series Stranger Things. Since then, her song has gained such popularity that she had broken 3 world records. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, since then, she has been working on both writing and directing a short film to benefit the charity War Child, which supports children affected by conflict. The 4-minute film called Little Shrew is set to Bush's song first written for her song Snowflake. Although Bush didn't give much away about her new album, she says it'll be much different from her previous work. She has since been persuaded by friends to try and get her back on the stage, but has said she isn't quite there yet. But there is much yet to come from Bush in this new era.
You know, I can't lie. Like, there are certain songs that are like overplayed proof. Like, certain songs that are just such bangers that they like remain bangers even though if you hear them 100 times.
Yes.
Running Up That Hill is one of those songs.
100%
That song
agree.
smacks.
That they use that song so well in the show too.
It's crazy.
Like
it's crazy.
just
like, you would think it'd be corny.
Yeah,
but it's not.
I know. They really. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm a fan, and I'm excited to see what.
Me too. And now we're going to toss it to weather one more time tonight for the end of the weekend weather. How's it look, Heather?
Thank you, Ethan. Friday will be a perfect fall day with some cloudy skies and a high of 54 degrees. Make sure you still have that jacket from Thursday, as there is a 15% chance of rain, and it will dip down to 41 degrees at night. Saturday, we will see it get even cooler with a high of 52, with some potential for sun with partly cloudy skies. We will see it get a bit warmer on Sunday with a high of 60 degrees, but we might still have a chance of rain with cloudy skies and a 17% chance for rain. It will remain warmer at night with a high of 51 degrees as well. And that's all I have for your weather this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you so much for our weekend weather, and that does it for News 11. Thank you to our behind-the-scenes crew. We'll be back next week.
And as always, thank you to everyone watching at home. Have a great night.